Hello, Substrika Army, and YouTube viewers of all ages. My name is JaCubAsAlways, and today we're going to do something a bit different on the channel, a Pokemon challenge. But first, if anyone remembers back in mid-November, we did a No Pokemon Center Nuzlocke in Pokemon Leaf Green, which we successfully won. However, that run left a sour taste in my mouth because I allowed healing items in battle. And since then, I've done numerous other challenges on my channel in which we stream them all and don't allow healing items in battle, which in my eyes makes Nuzlocke insanely cheap and easy to win. Although we don't allow healing items in battle like full restores, any held item like Bright Powder, Choice Scarf, or even Leftovers is totally okay. Anyway, let's get into this challenge run that we recently did on our stream, a Pokemon Emerald Advanced Trashlock. Firstly, I wanted to preface by saying I am not the first one to attempt such a challenge like this. Mr. Ding Dong Games was, so please make sure you go check out his run in the description down below of this game out too if you haven't already, because it was a really fun run for him as well. So to recap the rules of this challenge, number 1. Normal Nuzlocke rules apply. Number 2, no healing items in battle. Held items are okay. Number 3, the battle mode must be switched from switch to set. And lastly, fourth but not least, have fun, which is something I always strive to do on our channel. Also, another tidbit and another shout out to this cool lad, InVividColor, who made the Pokeball background in the video surrounding the video part. Great content creator, even better guy, so check out his Twitter and his YouTube in the description down below. With the stage now being set, it's time to get this party started. Wait, I just remembered, I didn't explain the whole Trashlock element of this game. Basically, it's plain Jane Emerald, but all the mons are replaced with bad Pokemon rather than what you normally get. For example, the starters are different as well as the static encounters. We'll get into those later and what bad mons replace what Pokemon. However, after playing through this entire game, I wouldn't really classify a lot of these Pokemon as awful, but that may just be me as well. Undoubtedly, it helps that I've been playing competitive Pokemon for nearly 9 years now, so if lemons are given to me, lemonade will be made is the point I'm trying to explain. Since the Trashlock has been explained, let's dive right into this game with the starters. And oh boy, the starters are pretty bad, I'd say, in Goldeen, Slugma, and Sunkern. Our stream chat was trying to get me to pick Goldeen, and while it probably has the best stats, it definitely wasn't ideal for the first gem because even though it's a water type, it lacks getting a water move by level up in this game, so in my opinion, that was out of the question. Next up, we have Slugma, which has a good assortment of moves like Recover, Yawn, etc. However, Slugma is a super slow Pokemon that has 2 quad weaknesses when it evolves, which is super late at level 30, freaking 8 by the way. So I felt that was a no-go. Lastly, we have Sunkern, and while it has the lowest base stats of all of these starters, it's the one we picked because it has stab moves plus growth for the first gym leader, and I found that super important in figuring out the best one. Albeit Sunkern being the best starter Pokemon for this run, it does have a pretty glaring issue for the beginning of this game, and that's May, our rival. Since this is a vanilla playthrough, May has Torchic, which is way more threatening than a Slugma would have been. So what level do you think we have to be to beat her? 6, 7, 8? Nah, level 10! Gosh, the grind for Sunkern was infuriating because it is so weak, and even with having growth that low level, because Absorb is such a weak move. However, don't worry, it'll get better soon because we do get Mega Drain relatively early at least. It was so bad that we even lost to May one time before I figured we'd be able to beat her at level 8, and honestly, that really ends up screwing us up early game because we lost half of our money due to losing, and we won't be able to recoup that to buy as many Pokeballs once the Nuzlocke officially starts. Us losing to May affected us more than I initially thought it would. I figured, you know, Sentret, Rattata, all of those Pokemon are easy to catch, so it'd be fine. But nope, they weren't. I kid you not, a level 2 Sentret broke free 4 times at about 35% health trying to catch it. So frustrating, so we used all of our first 5 Pokeballs on it, so we had to forfeit that encounter. Not a good start whatsoever. But boy, does it get worse early on, trust me. After being able to only buy 2 more Pokeballs, we were that short since I figured we needed to buy a couple potions and antidotes as well. We caught a Rattata, negative Migton, inside joke that I'll explain in a different challenge run coming up soon, and proceeded to that next route for our next encounter. We shouldn't have even bothered trying to catch our next encounter because 1, it was an actual terrible mon in Lediba, and 2, the same terrible mon KO'd Migton the Rattata. That was neat. Our first death to one of the worst Pokemon in existence. We then all decided as a community to not catch Ladybug as well because we used our only Pokeball on it, but shh, and just rock with Sunkern by itself for now, which made me pretty anxious because of its low base stats and a lot of weaknesses. Regardless, we don't just give up at Nuzlocke on our channel, so we would persevere and make the best out of any situation that RNG or the games gives us, and make the best we did by dispatching all of the trainers on the first route, and barely making enough money to buy 2 more Pokeballs, which included us selling one of our valuable potions. With having 2 Pokeballs at our disposal, the game blessed us with the best Pokemon known to man, a Hoppip. I'm dead serious. It gets Synthesis, Leech Seed, Powder Moves. Like, come on, what more could you want? Okay, jokes and sarcasm aside, we didn't waste our time trying to catch it, but we did manage to snag a Venonat named Red in the Petalburg Woods, which will be really huge for us as long as it doesn't paint before Brawly, the latter part being the key. I legit knocked on wood because RNG doesn't particularly like me in these wild challenges we do. Also, a bit off topic, we do name all of our Pokemon in these runs after viewers/members, so make sure you stop by the stream if you want a Pokemon named after you. Members get first dibs, and if they don't have them on, then whatever viewer says me first in the chat would thereafter. Alright, so this game is giving us a pretty rough start. But that's okay, because we're starting to build a pretty solid team of ragtag Pokemon, because our next couple encounters were a Ditto and an Igglybuff. The former I knew would be super important for later, and the latter being, well, not too great, and probably would be a sacrifice. I mean, we never sack off mons for no reason, nope. Anyway, after grinding our team, and by team I mean game file the Sunkern and Red the Venonat up, it's time to take on Roxanne. And I'm sure you guys probably know how this went. We got absolutely nah, it was a clean sweep of Sunkern and its growth plus Mega Drain strategy. Super easy as most would have expected, nothing too fun to see here. Now moving forward, I don't want to go every single encounter we get in great detail. Nor when we fail an encounter either, because it's not integral to our journey to a Hoenn League Championship. We have a long way until a Pokemon League and a lot of tough battles ahead. So to recap, before discussing the next gen battle versus Brawly, we caught a Dunsparce, Luvdisc, Meowth, as well as trained up the team to around the levels of Brawly too. I wanted to explain that a bit because my levels will be around the gym leader. Some Pokemon may be higher and some may be lower, but for the most part we won't be over leveled unless I feel it's a requirement to do so. And even then we won't ever be 10 plus levels ahead of a boss fight, just for everyone's information. Anyway, it's Brawly time, and since Venonat quad resist fighting, this fight was a walk in the park, and I do say that a bit loosely because I see where we could have struggled. The RNG was severely in our favor for once because we not only got the 30% chance to confuse the Machop, it also hit itself with the second one after smacking us with a Seismic Toss. And then the Meditite wasn't a problem, but more so just interesting because it didn't just spam Focus Punch as I've always known it to do. Brawly actually made it use Bulk Up, Reflect, however that was all in vain because it still couldn't touch Venonat since its only attacking move was Focus Punch. With 2 members down, out came Makuhita, his ace, and since Makuhita is weak to Psychic, unlike Meditite, it only took a few confusions to KO it, and we earned our Knuckle Badge. Pretty easy, just the way I like it. While Brawly was a complete joke, I knew the next few boss battles would be anything but that, because upcoming we have May Under the Bridge, brutal. Then we have Watson and his Magneton from HE Double Hockey Sticks. Then Flannery and Maxie and their very difficult fire type since we lack a good or water type right now. And last but certainly not least, our dad Norman and his team full of powerful normal type Pokemon that includes a Slacking and a Belly Drum Linoon, which is always such a threat, especially with advanced Nuzlocke rules. Although we have a ton of difficulty coming up, I can't look too ahead and can only concentrate on the next boss battle, and that was May Under the Bridge. This fight in most Nuzlockes is usually pretty difficult for some reason or another, but especially in advanced rules and in this Trashlock, because our Pokemon to deal with the Combusken is a frickin' Luvdisc. And if it weren't for having the name Will, Luvdisc probably would have been a worse Pokemon. But I have faith that we'll make it work, and our team full of misfit Pokemon will lead us to the promised land. The May fight didn't start out super well, mainly because we got our lead wrong. I asked chat if she leads with a Wingull or Lombre, and they are all pretty sure it was Lombre, so we led Sunkern. Nope. She led Wingull, so we immediately had to switch to Venonat, as I felt I needed Dunsparce later, even though we just taught it Rock to him. Venonat I knew wouldn't be super useful against the rest of her team, so that's why we tried to use Venonat to poison the Wingull first and foremost. Poison it we did. However, it did cost us a lot of our HP on our Venonat as well as a bit on our Dunsparce too. With Wingull down, out comes the biggest threat in Combusken. Combusken 6-0s our entire squad right now, so we can't just clean switch because, you know, battle style is set rather than switch, so that was annoying. So we decided to do most in this situation and sacrifice our Igglybuff to Combustion, giving us our second death of the game. However, Zero's death wasn't in vain, as it allowed us to get a clean and safe switch into Love Disc, but rather than just spam Water Gun, I actually used Charm first. This was the play because it lowered Combustion's attack in case if Dunsparce had to finish it. Hindsight being 20/20, I should have only used one Charm rather than two, as this actually made the AI smart and realized to click Focus Energy and Ember rather than Double Kick. Combustion using Focus Energy immediately pays dividends, as it not only gets the critical hit, it also gets the burn on our poor Will. But Will being clutch and Will being Will, too, he won't give up and fights fire with fire by critting the Combustion right back to nab the KO on that nasty bird, and in turn, barely surviving the next burn recoil next turn. Lastly, May as a Lombre, but after we just endured, Sunkern makes quick work of that mon. Speaking of Sunkern again, I was trying to figure out where on God's green earth we can get a Sunstone, and then I realized Sunstones aren't normally in Hoenn. Well, this isn't good because I really wanted the Sunflora soon, and I doubt we'll be able to get it as soon as I want. Tangents aside, it's time to get ready for Watson and his powerful electric type Pokemon, which, by the way, we don't deal with them super well either, and we only get one more encounter that matters, so I was really hoping for a ground type in the next area, but to my dismay right away, we got a Butterfree. However, this Butterfree isn't like most Butterfree because it's in the top percentage of Butterfree because its name is Moon, aka Moongeist, who's been such a huge supporter of this channel, so I appreciate Moon a lot. Thank you. Anyway, back to the action of what we're going to do for this Watson fight, especially his Magneton. I knew going in there were probably going to be some casualties, but I wanted to limit them as much as possible, so I had to think of some outside of the box strategies, and that was Glare Spam. Naturally, all of his Pokemon are indeed faster than our Pokemon, but we have something he doesn't, a Dunsparce with Glare. And prior to Generation 6, electric types could be paralyzed, so I knew this was a potential strategy. However, there was still a big issue, and that was, how do we knock out the Magneton? Then, all of a sudden, it hit me. If we paralyze the Magneton, we can use Ditto to transform into it and Sonic Boom it down in 3 hits, as long as we're at the appropriate level. I figured Magneton had about 70 HP or so. I needed to be level 24 or higher with Ditto, so we trained up our entire squad around that level, with Dunsparce being in the higher end of 28. We may not have the best Pokemon for Watson, but gosh darn it, I knew it would be enough. It had to be. Just a brief side note really quick before I talk about the Watson fight. While this game may have weaker Pokemon, the route west to Mauville has one of the best grinding spots in Pokemon history, with all having level 13 to 14 bug Pokemon that give out 300 experience, so us training everything up didn't really take too long, and I'm very happy that this game implemented such a route. Well done to whoever made this. Anyway, let's talk about the Watson battle now. After taking a huge deep breath, I knew it was time for a gritty fight with him. I decided to lead Venonat, as I knew I needed my other Pokemon for later in the fight. And if I lost Venonat, it wouldn't have been as integral. Sorry, Red. Love you, buddy. Also, I made sure to attach Cherry Berries to most of my Pokemon for this battle, as Watson loves to Thunder Wave spam, and I wasn't about to get RNG'd if I could help it. RNG'd we still got, as we missed Disable, which isn't 100% accurate like it is nowadays, and we even had Compound Eyes, so unfortunately we weren't able to disable the Spark trying to get the Voltorb to click Self-Destruct on Venonat, and in turn, both Red, the Venonat, and Game 5 the Sunkern went down to that nasty Pokeball Pokemon. It surely didn't help that Spark crit the Sunkern the first turn it was out. We may have lost our 2 longest tenured team members to Watson's first Pokemon. We weren't about to give up so easily, so we knew Watson would burn out Electrike. So we brought up Pyra the Dunsparce, another big support of our channel, thank you Pyra, because Pyra would take quick work of that mon. Quick work it was, and although Rock 2 missed, Watson thought it'd be an excellent idea to just spam Howl. Genius move. But now comes out the biggest threat to most teams, his Magneton. Luckily, we had Dunsparce out for it so we could paralyze it with Glare. Also, do note, we purposely got Dunsparce level 28, so it would have 103 HP, meaning Sonic Boom was a 6-hit KO, which we all felt was important. After Glare went off, a big decision had to be made, and that was to sacrifice Strips the Meowth so we could get in Ditto safely. Rip Strips, happening again. But that allowed us an opportunity to transform into Magneton and start Sonic Booming it into Oblivion. I want to state, I messed up and should have had a Cherry Berry on Ditto rather than an Oran Berry, but luckily for us it didn't matter, and Travis took care of that nasty bucket of bolts. Even though the biggest threat is now gone and done for, that doesn't mean Manectric wasn't pushed over, as it can be an issue if we allow it to be. As Manectric came out, we immediately switched in fire on the Howl setup, which did get a bit scary. I then immediately misplayed by clicking Glare over Rock Tomb as it set up yet another Howl on our Glare miss. This isn't looking good, especially after we missed another move, this time Rock Tomb, a singular yike. But then the AI paralyzed us as we get a nice Rock Tomb off and then start spamming Rage in hopes it starts attacking us and maybe we get a cheeky crit since we're holding the Silk Scarf to boost our normal moves. All that hope was a pipe dream though, as Dunsparce's health got whittled down and we lost another friend in this insane match. Now we only have Butterfree, who's weak to electricity, and a Ditto, who's paralyzed. Big oos aside, I can only explain the next sequence of turns to Destiny as we bring in Moon the Butterfree, click Sleep Powder, lands, survives by clicking Confusion over and over again, and of complete insanity, Watson clicks Thunder Wave over Shockwave as our Cherry Berry goes off and we put Manectric back to sleep, and somehow, someway, we survive the battle because of Moon's willpower and Watson's incompetence, on top of RNG not completing hating us by keeping the Manectric asleep for 3 turns. Wow, what a turn of events to Strike Army. Even though we won our 3rd badge, that was still such a bittersweet win, as we only have 3 members alive, in Moon the Butterfree, Travis the Ditto, and Will the Love Disc, who was in the PCU during the Watson fight. We may have to rebuild our team, but we have the tools to do so because we get a lot of encounters coming up. The Dream Team's journey is continuing by attempting to get more encounters, and more encounters is exactly what happened. We got a Rock Smash Pokemon and Garrett the Unknown, which Garrett and Unknown will be a theme for the rest of the game, just you wait. Then we got Weska the Spoink, Strips the Baltoy, Sam the Dustox, Kelsey the Mawile, and Spencer the Pit. Wait, I just remembered, Will actually critically hit the Pidgey, so we missed out on an encounter. Unfortunately, drat. That really stinks, as we need all the encounters we can get. Yikes. But we'll have to figure out our strategy for the upcoming boss battles with the Pokemon we do have available. Before training up for the 4th gym, I did want to try our hand at Maxie. However, after seeing how awful just the Team Magma Grunts were, I decided we were forced to go train up a bit as we skipped a lot of trainers before and after Fall Arbor Town. After that mini grind, it's time to take on Boss Maxie, who is pretty troubling for our team, so we decided to lead with Moon against his Mightyena, so we can Poison Powder it and pivot out to our other Pokemon to rack up the damage. But because RNG isn't our friend, we miss our first Poison Powder and end up taking more damage than we have to. Even though Bite doesn't do too much damage, the output was still plenty to be mildly annoying to us. Luckily for us, we hit the second Poison Powder right as Maxie decided to go for a Sand Attack. And we have to be super careful to pivot around hits while not losing another team member. However, Mightyena is becoming too much for our team to deal with, so in the best interest of the team, we decided to sacrifice our 7th Mon, Kelsey the Mawile. Rest in peace. At least Will was able to avenge his fallen comrade. The rest of the battle isn't so bad, with Will clutching up again and KOing the Zubat and Camerupt with some Attract, Charms, and Water Gun action. And it really wasn't close, especially since we slapped an Oranberry onto him. With beating Maxie comes unlocking a new route and being able to catch one more Pokemon before Flannery. And did we get something that is super useful against her? Kind of, yeah. Although we could have caught an Onix, which would have been more helpful as an encounter, the game gave us an Aipom instead, and we are honestly okay with that, because Aipom isn't an awful first stage Pokemon, and even though it can't evolve to Ambipom in Gen 3, it does have merit. Now that Aipom is caught, we know our 6 team members going into the Flannery fight, and after grinding up our team, they aren't super over-leveled, as only Andrew the Aipom and Weska the Grumpig are over her Ace's level being level 31 and 32 respectively, so in theory, even with having a lot of weakish Pokemon, we should be able to hand her onslaught of fire types, right? Well, the battle started off pretty well with Lovedis making quick work of her Numel and Slugma with water guns. Then came out Camerupt, so we decided to use Charm on it, so it would do less damage with Magnitude to our team. And to our surprise, it used Tackle? Why? No clue. But then it used Sunny Day as we clicked Water Gun and has kept using Tackle. So rather than weaken it with Greater with Water Gun, we decided to use Charm again to try and stall out Sunny Day and Light Screen with Slugma setup. Stall out we did, and then we KO'd the Camerupt as soon as Light Screen ran out. However, out came the biggest threat to our team and her ace, Torkoal. And then, me being the bonehead I was, and always will be, accidentally clicked Charm, and oh boy, did that set us back, because Torkoal's ability is White Smoke, and that prevents stats from being lowered by opposing Pokemon. As the Torkoal clicks Body Slam and paralyzes our will. Big freaking oof. Nah, it wasn't actually that bad because I slapped a Cherry Berry and loved this for that specific reason. I then decide to pivot into Grumpig because it also has a Cherry Berry and has Stick Bat as its ability, thus making it super useful versus nuisance of a Pokemon. But with our luck being what it is, we get paralyzed first turn. After figuring out that Psybeam probably does more damage than Psy Wave would, we click that. However, even though it did passable damage, her Torkoal critically hit an Overheat versus Grumpig. So in 3 of 4 turns, she gets 2 paralysis from Body Slams and a crit from Overheat. Not sure how unlikely that is, but that's our luck sometimes. And the worst part about all this was her item was a White Herb, so the -2 drop that just happened with Overheat is like it never happened. Did I mention she still has 2 Hyper Potions left? No? Well, she does, so this should be an interesting fight to the finish. The Torkoal's RNG decides to be even more wild with her breaking free from confusion again and clicks Body Slam after her Psybeam damage, but Weska wasn't going down without a fight and lives on 1 HP, so the RNG and damage roll that were pretty insane. Knowing full well we can't afford to lose Grumpig right now, we decide to switch into Travis the Ditto as sacrifice, and we could live it by if it clicked Body Slam, which did fortunately enough for us. And because of Ditto's ability Limber, we can't be paralyzed. And thankfully for us, the damage also puts us into range of our Oranberry, which in turn allows us to live an Overheat again at 1 HP versus said Torkoal as we transform into itself. Even though Ditto had to be fought off, it allowed us to get more chip on it and lowered its special attack to -2 as well. So Travis, my friend, your loss was not in vain. I knew what time it was next, and that was to go into our Apom because a Silk Scarf boosted Secret Power into Strength should KO it. However, to our dismay, we get a low roll on the Strength as it gets to set up a Sunny Day. Heal about 1/3 of our HP with Body Slam. Heal again, and then KO Apom with an Overheat. Man, this RNG is not in our favor, but despite the fact some of our chat thought it was done, I knew it was not. And the only thing we needed to do was put Torkoal to sleep with Moon Sleep Powder. We may end up losing another team member, but we won't lose this battle. I won't let us. Moon, just like the Watson fight, came in clutch, landed her Sleep Powder, and then 3-hit KO'd the Torkoal as it stayed in nap time. I don't think its staying asleep mattered too much because it was at -4 and out of the sun. Butterfree's special defense is pretty okay, so regardless, we would have lived that. With the long and grueling battle versus Flannery being done, it's time to get prepared for our next important battle versus our dad, Norman. Before battling our dad, though, we need to get some new recruits, so we head to the desert, catch an Ekans, which ended up having Intimidate, neat, and a Kabuto named Rowlet and Noah respectively. So it's training time again because even the next gym trainers can be problematic because of X items and setup moves, so this was a necessity to do. After evolving Ekans into Arbok, we remembered that we should go get the fossil to revive. But there was an issue. That issue being some crazy Pokemon nerd, you know, the one from Mount Moon in Kanto, won't let us have fun. What a nice lad. Honestly, this game is just trying to make things more difficult because 1, no fossils. 2, no game corner for the better TMs. And 3, no daycare. The last one being one of the worst because we typically use the daycare to start training up our other Pokemon during our insane Nuzlocke we do on our channel to prevent grinding later. Nothing we can do about that though, so it's time to just move on and train up. Training up is exactly what we did. Now, you might be wondering, how on God's green earth are we gonna beat Norman Slacking with the team we have? Simple. Dustox at level 38. Why? Dustox at that level gets toxic, and in combination with Moonlight and Protect, Slacking can't beat us. It's not possible unless multiple critical hits happen when we're lower health, which more than likely won't happen because we'd be a bit over-leveled. We typically won't be too over-leveled throughout this run, just for some of it, and I'm okay with that because I want to do our best to win this. Plus, Slacking is an insanely powerful, basically legendary stats Pokemon. It was needed, and I don't regret it at all. Anyway, after training up our team for the most part, it was time to take on the gym trainers, and none of them were an issue aside from one. That one trainer that had a Zangoose, yeah, him, he was a problem and a half. Arbok, while getting an Intimidate, didn't do enough damage with Strength as Zangoose set up a Sword Stance. While I knew Zangoose got that move, I was still freaking out a bit and then decided we need to glare this Pokemon as soon as possible, so that's what we did. We then pivoted into Kabuto in hopes of getting a Defense Drop with Rock Smash, but that failed. Dustox had to come in as our highest level Pokemon. We clicked Silverwind, it lived, and set up another Sword Stance. This is getting out of hand way too fast, And to top all of that off, the trainer had a hyper potion. I wonder how easy this game would be if the AI trainers couldn't use healing items like we can. Probably pretty darn easy. Regardless, back to the threat that is known as Zangoose at +3 attack. Well, we all know we couldn't lose Dustox. It was too important to lose, so we thought going into the Grumpig was the correct play, as it's decently tanky and may be able to take a +3 slash, but it did not. Maybe because of the critical hit, but we'll never know. What we do know is going back into Arbok at that point was the play because we could potentially para-flinch it because of Bite, so we needed to do that 100%. Weirdly enough, we got the flinch, and in combination with another strength, the threat was neutralized. Thank gosh for that. I swear, for every bit of RNG that doesn't go away in this run, we get some right back that does go our way. I guess I'll take that. Nothing we can control because it's time for the Norman fight. You know, after about another hour long of grinding. The grinding is now done with our lowest level being level 31 because if I'm being completely honest, I'm getting a bit annoyed at RNG of this game, and sometimes I wanted to try and mitigate that as much as possible. Also, certain Pokemon of ours learned certain moves we needed, so it just made more sense. Before the battle with our dad starts, I make sure to slap a couple more Person Berries on our Pokemon because his Spinda, yeah, that likes to rely on RNG based moves like Teeter Dance, so let's try not to lose to that if we can. I lead Kabuto versus his team so we can lower Spinda speed, but to my surprise, Kabuto already outsped. Neat. After getting the Rock Smash defense drop and another Teeter Dance from Spinda, I decide to switch to Baltoy because why should it click Teeter Dance back-to-back turns? Well, because the game's AI can be pretty incompetent, so it does that very move. Oh, great joy. Regardless, we had attached the Person Berry to strips, so it wasn't all lost. However, the Ancient Power didn't KO the Spinda at -1 defense, which wasn't too surprising, and in turn, pivoting back into Kabuto was always the play, because if you saw our moveset, we have Rollout. How? Well, there's a move tutor in Mauville City that actually teaches your Pokemon that move. Naturally, Kabuto was the perfect fit, as it doesn't get an actual Rock Stab move until level 55. Insanity, Game Freak. Anyway, we missed the Rollout as Spinda confuses us yet again with Teeter Dance. Yippee. So, what we do, any sane person would do, and switch to get an Intimidate on Spinda as it goes for Psybeam. Okay, fair enough, as it made sense. Can't be too mad at that. And we switch our Arbok into Baltoy to resist the Psybeam. It goes for again, and now it's time to fight fire with fire, because if her dad wants to troll us with Teeter Dance and confusion shenanigans, we can do that with Mud Slap. So Mud Slap we spam, and to our pleasure, Spinda keeps missing for the most part, and Baltoy slowly but surely KOs it. Next up is Vigoroth, and since I'm positive Baltoy can chew a hit, I go for one more cheeky Mud Slap, as next turn we switch into Arbok, and of course, RNG comes back to bite us in the butt with a lovely critical hit Facade. At least Arbok lived though. The Intimidate still comes in clutch as we switch back to Kabuto to Mud Shot, Rock Smash defense drop, and Rollout combo it into the Shadow Realm. With Vigoroth gone, up comes our dad's greatest threat in his slacking. No sarcasm, I swear. Okay, maybe a lot, because after unfortunately having to sacrifice Noah the Kabuto to slacking, we bring in Sam the Dustox to put our picture-perfect strategy to good use, and honestly, it can't really fail. Like, for real. It's impossible, because even if we miss the first Toxic, we can just spam Protect on the attacking turn until we land it. And yes, I know Facade is boosted by ×2, while status, the slacking will never, ever, double negative for the win, be able to land another hit unless we let it or run out of Protect, which I also find highly unlikely. So after successfully outstalling the slacking and the biggest threat of a Belly Drum Linoon, the Balance Badge is ours. P.S. We did, however, have to sack off Rowlet the Arbok to make sure he won. Rest in peace, Rowlet, you will be missed. Okay, after that really, really long first half of the game, I'm going to condense a lot of the upcoming parts as nothing really happens that's too significant. We gain more team members like 2 more Unknown, a Porygon, a Voltorb, a Marill, a Masquerain, a Stantler, a Plusle, a Quillfish, a Remoraid, a Blossom, and a Murkrow. We also evolve some of them as well as beat up on Team Aqua again too. Nothing really important or scary went down. Oh yeah, we got the Ice Beam TM in the abandoned ship, so that will be oh so important throughout the rest of the game. Anyway, after going all the way to Lily Cove and backtracking to Fortree, it's time to take on the 6th gym leader, Winona. Now, I had beef with Winona because a week prior to this, we took her on in Pokemon Emerald Nuzlocke, but her team was randomized after every battle, and she body bagged our team because we ended up with an Illumise and all first stage Pokemon. So I was out for revenge, and revenge is exactly what we got on her because none of our Pokemon took any HP of damage. 0. Ridiculous. We should have, but the genius AI thought it'd be a good idea to set up 2 Dragon Dances on a Claydol that knew Ice Beam. Big brain stretch, Winona. And then click Sand Attack versus our Electrode that knows the move Shockwave. After the abomination that was the previous battle with her, that was just sweet, sweet justice, and we couldn't have been more happy with how the destruction went. Anyway, onward to the plot of the game. As everyone knows, Team Magma wants more land, and Team Aqua wants more water, so we just bully them more than Sam, aka Favorite Flurry, bullies me in Mario Kart, and absolutely manhandle both of them in their respective bases. Nothing to see there unless you like bullying and memes. We may be laughing now, but we probably won't be soon. Why? Well, I'll tell you why. 3 words. 2 people. Tate and Liza. Oh my gosh. These 2 are typically Nuzlocke enders, and there's no other way to put it. They are scary, they have threats, they have a well-balanced team, and we have to be prepared. So we do what any competent person would do, and get a dark type. Our only dark type is Murkrow, which has an adamant nature. Typically that's pretty nice, but all dark type moves are special in this game, and that's a tad bit unfortunate. Regardless, Alan the Murkrow was to be a solid addition to our team for that fight. We just have to train up a bit. That's exactly what we did, and we would have had every intention of training up more, but guess what? We did a poll, and the chat voted on it, and they decided we're just gonna full send in, and as the kids call it, winging it. Great joy, but nah, for real, I felt like we could win as well, and no one else wanted to keep watching us grind up. That's boring. So the team going into the 7th gym leader fight with Jerk and Jerky are a level 38 Murkrow, a level 40 Claydol, a level 38 Electrode, a level 38 Azumarill, a level 34 Porygon, and a level 40 Dustox. Although we are a bit underleveled, we had big brain strategies. Our Murkrow knew Haze, and if you know anything about Tate and Liza, they love Calm Mind a lot. We also had Screech and Rock Tomb to lower stats on Electrode and Claydol respectively, as well as the super effective moves with Surf and Silverwind on Azumarill and Dustox too. Oh yeah, we can't forget about the biggest brain strategy of them all, Dual Dance Porygon. Okay, this is more of a meme strategy, but if we could pull it off, it'd be hilarious. Porygon has Sharpened, Facade, Recover, and Agility, but I mostly had it on there because it could be a meat shield and somewhat hopefully take away from other Pokemon. One more tidbit before we get the battle started, I also gave a lot of our Pokemon Protect, because it's a double battle. Let's get on with the show on the road, probably one of the most difficult fights in Pokemon history. Tate and Liza lead with the infamous duo of Xatu and Claydol as we lead our own Claydol with Murkrow. I decide since Xatu really isn't an issue for our team, it's better to double attack the Claydol, and that pays huge dividends as we get the lucky 10% freeze on Claydol. However, the very first turn has the opportunity to, it thaws! We all know if I got frozen, I never thaw, but that's Pokemon. We're still going to make the best out of this, and we'll do that by switching Claydol out to get rid of the confusion and bring in Porygon in hopes of us tracing Levitate. We do just that, and Claydol is actually very silly and clicks Earthquake and does 0 damage. Gotta love the artificial intelligence of Pokemon sometimes. However, the very next turn, the Claydol and Xatu double attack that slot as Porygon faints to the first one, and we're first to bring in another mod to take a +1 Psychic, so I bring in Azumarill. Thankfully, we were smart and taught Azumarill Protect, and that was super clutch as the game wasn't smart enough to predict Protect. Perfect. Next up, the twins brought in Solrock. Speaking of Solrock, one of my close friends, Miguel, aka 3rd Gen Gamer, really dislikes it, and he just did a very difficult challenge on his channel. Can you beat Pokemon Sword and Shield with only a Dreepy? So go see his wild strategies and see if he can win. Anyway, back to Jerk and Jerkier featuring Tate and Liza. These 2, I swear, either make insanely good plays or insanely bad plays. Typically, there's no in between, but regardless, we get the high damage roll on Claydol with our Claydol's Ice Beam. Nice. Now it's time for some big old freaking nuisances, Solrock and Lunatone. One likes to spam Sunny Day, and the other, Calm Mind. Now how are we going to KO these 2 when Tate and Liza still have potions left, and we only have 4 Pokemon? Simple. Very, very carefully. Seriously though, we are going to have to try and stock up a couple more mods to do this successfully in Azumarill and Electrode, as well as click Rock Tomb on each of them. Electrode knows Screech, which is why it was very important to KOing the Lunatone for sure. After slowly whittling down both Solrock and Lunatone, using up their Citrus Berries, Tate and Liza's Hyper Potions, as well as unfortunately losing Clyde the Electrode and Brenmark the Azumarill, we made it to the endgame. The endgame of Claydol and Dustox versus a weakened Solrock and Lunatone. Firstly, we need to protect Dustox to ensure its safety and surviving, and just to get some chip damage on Solrock. Chip damage is what we get, as in subsequent turns we are able to successfully KO both of their aces. Phew. What an intense battle, and if we honestly trained up more, that battle would have been way too easy and would have been less entertaining in my honest opinion. Also, can we talk about how Claydol took 0 damage again? Not sure how or why that happened, but Tate and Liza refused to try and damage it, even though they could have easily done damage with Solar Beam in the sun. Super questioning. But we take those, as Claydol was clutch, slowing all of the Pokemon down with Rock Tomb and allowing Dustox to outspeed late game. I'm honestly just glad that battle ended on victory, as they are known for ending people's Nuzlocke runs. With Tate and Liza being done, we are officially in the late portion of this game, but we just have to train up the rest of our team first and foremost. However, before we do that, I feel it's in our best interest to take on Maxie one final time. And if I'm being completely real, that was an awful idea, because we were pretty underleveled for the fight. This fight was arguably just as difficult as the Tate and Liza fight. It had tons of RNG, tons of the AI being super silly, namely Steven because he doesn't know how to battle if his life depended on it, and in turn we lost another Pokemon. This time Megaili, the Octillery, which had potential in us bringing it into Elite Four because of Aurora Beam for Salamence, but also crazy integral to the future of the team, so it wasn't the biggest loss we could have had. Regardless, we got through the fight and we could start officially training up our team for the final gym leader Juan and his nasty double teaming Kingdra. We came back the next day with their team fully trained up to all level 40s, and that included backup mons too, so in case something fainted, we had a backup and we wouldn't have to grind a lot for the rest of the game until Victory Road, hopefully. Good joke, Jacob, because guess what happened against Archie, Team Aqua's boss, before getting to take on Juan? Sharpedo happened. Archie's other 2 Pokemon, Mightyena and Crobat, went down without much fight, but man, Sharpedo was a real annoyance to us. Sharpedo, just like Mightyena, has Swagger, which if you didn't know, raises your attacks 2 stages while confusing. A normal confusion wouldn't be so bad, but when our attack stat gets raised, it's awful, especially when you hit yourself 2 straight times, dealing nearly half of your HP of damage to yourself, and then Sharpedo critically hitting your grass type that would have been also valuable versus Juan, but also the champion Wallace. The most infuriating point of all of this, I'm positive Magic Leaf would have one-hit KO'd it as well. Anyway, I digress, and Team comes in to finish it with 2 silver wins, thankfully. Now that the final boss battles versus evil teams are done, it's time to save the world, and along the way, we catch a Sableye in Cave of Origin, and a Haunter in Skypillar. Both are super important for later on. Haunter for Juan, and Sableye for the Elite Four. After successfully saving all of Hoenn, it's time to train up for Juan just a bit, but first, we need to go and see what the level 70 legend, wait for it, dairy Pokemon is going to be. Surely it's bound to be a Rayquaza, right? That's my best joke all video, because Chad and I knew exactly what Pokemon it was going to be. An unknown! Because literally every single static in this game was an unknown, so it only made sense. Regardless, a level 70 is still a level 70, and we had full intent in actually using the unknown versus Juan, as long as it had a decent hidden power, and boy, did we get lucky. The level 70 unknown, called Garcub, because we named every single unknown all playthrough after a member named Garrett Legendstone, had Stab and hidden power Psychic, so very clutch. I wish it would have been Grass, but beggars can't be choosers, and Garcub will still be useful in helping to deal with one of Juan's Pokemon, Whiscash. The game plan and team was pretty simple for Juan. Let Plusle body everything that's not named Whiscash and Kingdra, mostly the former, and use Unknown for Whiscash and Haunter for Kingdra by basically sacrificing himself to Curse to Kingdra so he can't get RNG'd by double team strategies as easily. However, first and foremost, we had to train up Haunter and Plusle a bit as first, as well as buy some vitamins for Hunter and Unknown. While using vitamins, I made a tiny mistake. I really thought all hidden powers were physical in this game, and that's not entirely true. It's still based off the typing the hidden powers were. So since we had Psychic, it was a special move, and the mistake I made was giving Unknown proteins rather than calciums, which did have a little bit of effect on the battle, but nothing too bad, so all is well. However, we did use Cardboss on Hunter to essentially ensure outspeeding, but I was still a bit skeptical if we would or not, because I'm not sure if the Kingdra could have max EVs, IVs, or speed boosting nature, or if all of that was random. To ensure us getting off a curse, because we had to hard switch Haunter in, we did beat up on some bug type Pokemon in our favorite training spot of the game. If you're watching this in the future or in the premiere, put hashtag justice for bug Pokemon in the comments or chat respectively, because all those Illumise, Volbeat, Dustox, Butterfree, and Beautifly honestly didn't deserve it. They were great for training, and I won't forget their sacrifices they made for our team. Thank you. With the final training before Juan being done, us collecting items like the magnet for Plusle, which is super important for it, it's time to see if we can earn our 8th and final gym badge of Hoenn. Let's do this. Juan leads with a level 41 Love Disc, which gets one-shotted by Spark from Plusle. Out comes Wishcash, as we are big brain and switch out to our level 70 Unknown that has Levitate. And it's here that I realize not all hidden powers are physical this gen, because Wishcash sets up Amnesia, and I realize it's not doing as much damage as the first one did. Regardless, Garchomp is doing what we needed it to do and weakens the Wishcash for the rest of our team, while taking one for the team by fainting. Thank you, Garchomp, for the one job you had. Stantler comes in and finishes off the weakened Wishcash as Sealeo comes out next. Sealeo isn't a threat at all unless it gets back-to-back freezes on Golduck as we attach the Asper Berry so we can't get frozen. Oh, come on! A critically hit Body Slam into Paralysis. We can't make this stuff up, Zebstrike Army. We just can't. But hey, we click Screech into Brick Break, and that took care of Sealeo just fine, thankfully. Second to last is this Crawdaunt, which isn't too bad, as Dark and Water type moves are all special in Gen 3, so I am positive Plusle can come in, take a hit if needed, but Juan doesn't want to win, so he clicks Taunt as we OHKO with Spark. Juan's first rare Pokemon may have gone down pretty easily, but they all pale in comparison to his last. A level 46 Kingdra that knows Double Team, and the combo of Resto Chesto and running the move Rest with the item Chesto Berry. However, we have a plan. We're going to go into our level 47 Haunter and click Curse, but things almost didn't work out super well because we're only 2 HP higher than what we needed to use Curse. So that was super scary, but alas, we got up the Curse, and in turn, the battle was a wrap. We got back into Plusle and clicked not Spark, but Fake Tears so we could do more damage with Spark as Juan clicks Double Team. Since the Curse went off 2 times already, I knew Kingdra was in range of Spark, but we missed after one only Double Team. And then Juan goes for a rest and pops off the Chesto Berry. Curse takes effect, again leaving Kingdra at 75% health, and to everyone's surprise, we hit Spark and actually KO'd the Kingdra from that range. Thank you, Fake Tears, and thank you, Plusle. A move in a Pokemon not commonly used. This is what you get at our channel here. Difficult challenges, inane strategies, all while having a blast doing them. So if you generally are enjoying this video, make sure to subscribe, leave a like on the video, click the notification bell for future uploads, and leave a comment on how we can improve the channel. That all goes a long way, and I greatly and genuinely appreciate it. Now that we have all 8 gym badges, it's time to conquer Victory Road and figure out the best 6 team members for the Elite Four. And the 6 chat and I came up with are Sam the Dustox, Zero the Plusle, Strips the Claydol, Golden Bolt the Golduck, David the Sableye, and Graham the Hitmonchan, which somehow is a trash, and somehow we got blessed to find. We used the Master Ball on it to save time, as it was the literal last Pokemon we would catch. At least we didn't foolishly use it on an Napalm this time. We'll go over the movesets for the Elite Four in a couple minutes, but we just need to train up our team and get through Victory Road first, because we need loads of HMs to get through it, so we can't fully make a final moveset until after that's done. We come back the next day, trained up and ready and rearing to go, after beating up on our favorite bugs again, with all of our team members in the low 50s. So nothing until Elite Four will be an issue, or in theory at least, and that hypothetical theory was put to the test. And after utterly destroying Wally and all the trainers in Victory Road, we got all unscathed with our full team of level 50s intact. But we're not quite done yet, as it's time to use all 9 of our rare candies and fix up the movesets to our Pokemon. After doing all that, our final team was a level 54 Hitmonchan named Graham with the Keen Eye ability with the moves Sky Uppercut, Ice Punch, Bulk Up, and Mach Punch. A level 54 Sableye named David, also with the Keen Eye ability with the moves Calm Mind, Rest, Sleep Talk, and Feint Attack. A level 53 Dustox named Sam that has the Shield Dust ability with the moves Toxic, Moonlight, Sludge Bomb, and Silverwind. A level 53 Plusle named Zero, clearly with the Plus ability with the moves Thunderbolt, Fake Tears, Encore, and Thunder. A level 53 Claydol named Strips with having the Levitate ability and the moves Earthquake, Ice Beam, Shadow Ball, and Psychic. And last but certainly not least, we have a level 53 Golden Bolt the Golduck with the Cloud9 ability with the moves Brick Break, Screech, Blizzard, and Surf. Now that you know our ending movesets and levels, let me know in the comments down below if you think we can win or not. I thought our chances were definitely pretty good, and so did chat, so let's get this going. Also, I didn't state any items, as those are going to be changing periodically as we challenge the Elite Four. Anyway, first up we have Sydney, the Dark-type trainer, and as you probably guessed, it's a clean sweep with Hitmonchan. Nothing really threatens us at all, and the fact we were able to set up 3 bulk ups were huge in one-shotting his entire frail team with Mach Punch. Sydney is typically a joke, and he's basically this Elite Four's Bruno. Time to move on with his second Elite Four member, Phoebe, and her Ghost-type Pokemon. I genuinely thought I'd be able to sweep her entire team with David, but her using Curse put an end to that sweep real fast, as we were forced to switch out into Zero on her Banette, because I thought she'd attack us, but she just clicked Grudge. So we got to click Encore with Plusle and got another use of Fake Tears, so that was joyous to do. Also, we clicked Thunder on Banette rather than Thunderbolt because I wanted consistency for the rest of the fight rather than power. Just felt like explaining that as Dusclops came out next. This is her ace as well, even though it has Earthquake. We stayed in and clicked Fake Tears because I knew Plusle could take one since 1, it's not stab, and 2, Dusclop has god-awful attack. Indeed, we took to Earthquake as we switched into Golduck and O-Code with a Mystic Water as I figured it would happen. What I didn't expect though is to straight up O-Code the rest of her team, which made us all very happy. Third up is Glacial, the Ice type Elite Four member, and for this fight we changed up the items on Golduck and Hitmonchan and gave them both Asper Berries in case we get frozen. We don't want that at all. That would have been an end runner. We led with Hitmonchan to set up 2 Ball Cups because that's all I thought we need. However, we should have set up 3 of them on the first Sealeo as we don't OHKO the second Sealeo and it attracts us. And we have to try to break free. Breaking free is exactly what Graham did and wasn't in love with the second Sealeo, thankfully. The second Glalie goes down, no problem at all, but we nearly hit a brick wall with her ace Walrein as Graham missed his Sky Uppercut. Walrein goes for serve, but since Hitmonchan has naturally good special defense, it chewed the serve and goes for another Sky Uppercut, this time hitting an OHKO in Glacia's ace Pokemon. With that crisis averted, we only have one more Elite Four member left, and that's Drake, the Dragon Master. Now you may be thinking, I should lead with Claydol or Golduck since they have Ice type moves, right? Wrong. We actually decide to lead with Sableye since Shelgon isn't too strong and likes to spam Protect, and that's an ample opportunity to set up Calm Mind for a potential sweep. And sweep we nearly did. Shelgon was set up fodder as soon as Altaria comes in. It critically hit our Sableye, so we were forced to click Rest and rely on Sleep Talk. At least Drake healed when we clicked Rest. After a bit of back and forth action, we end the exchange with Altaria at 41 HP, which is perfectly fine because as long as Kingdra doesn't crit hit the serve, we live and can rest up. Now another reason is why we set up Sableye rather than going to something else was because of Drake's Kingdra. If we're set up, Surf does negligible damage and its other 3 moves are useless because Smokescreen cannot affect us because of Keen Eye and Feint Attack, and the combination of Dragon Dance and Body Slam is just as useless because we're Ghost type, we're immune to normal. I want to go off on a little bit of a tangent real quick, and that is the AI and their use of healing items. I don't have any issues with them using them, no, but the entire chat and I thought Drake was actually out of them because he didn't use it on his low health Kingdra, but he wasn't, and we would have played differently had we known that. Had I known he wasn't, I would have been more careful and made Sableye at around 100 HP compared to just 84, which would have been more critical and crucial for living hits. Anyway, in comes his Flygon, and I actually misplayed here bad. Here's why. I should have switched Strips to Claydol in right away, rather than waiting until after David KOs the Flygon, because then we would have been in on his Ace Salamence, and wouldn't have had to switch directly in, and which is what happened. We also should have just let Sableye faint, but we didn't because I was trying to conserve as many mons for the final fight as possible. Us being so frugal was our downfall, as when we switch in Strips, the Salamence critically hits our Claydol with Crunch. Oh my god! Even though our Citrus Berry popped, we were in range of another, so then we're forced to switch into Golduck, which I know can take 3 hits from it. But after living through the first Crunch, Salamence crits us again, this time with Dreadclaw. Sure, we would have had to hit Blizzard, but since we had a modest nature, I was certain we'd KO it. But just like, how many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Roll Pop? We'll never know. We may just have lost Golduck, but we're still not done yet as we have Plusle and we can use Fake Tears. However, the game really didn't like us as it flinched our Plusle. The game was out to get us, I swear, so since the finish happened, I knew we had to switch into Hitmonchan, as that was basically our last hope. Joke was on us! After we survived a couple hits, smacked it with Ice Punches, made it use its berry, I thought for sure we would be able to clean up with a Mach Punch, but good old Lucky Drake had one last trick up his sleeve. Another full restore. Hindsight being 2020, I definitely click Ice Punch there to at least give us a fighting chance left rather than Mach Punch, but you win some and you lose some. Unfortunately, after giving it one last gasp by trying to Toxic Stall the Salamence, we ended up losing our challenge. Now, did the RNG really matter? Yeah, it definitely did, but I also know had we not misplayed, we wouldn't have been put in that position to lose the run the way we did. The random number generator never should have had to happen. However, despite how unfortunate all these events were and how we lost, this was still such an incredible run, and I would do it all over again. There are so many great moments, so many great strategies, and the best part about all this was I got to interact with our entire community, the Substrika army. Thank you all so much for watching this entire premiere or video whenever you guys are watching it. I love you all so very much. Peace out, and I hope you all continue to come out to more crazy Pokemon Challenge runs in the future. The next run we'll upload will be a Pokemon Leaf Green, no Pokemon Center, no Pokemon Nuzlocke, in which we did a couple months back on stream. All of that out within the next couple weeks. Take care, everyone. Have a great day, and I love you all. Peace.